Capitol Hill just absolutely erupted in what might be the most significant vote of Trump's entire presidency. And what happened is stunning. On December 11th, 2025, 140 members of the House of Representatives voted to advance articles of impeachment against Trump. Not 50, not 79 like last time. 140 members, that's roughly a third of the entire House saying we need to remove this guy from office. And here's what makes this absolutely devastating for Trump. This isn't happening after some massive scandal. This isn't happening right after January 6th when emotions are running high. This is happening in the middle of his second term during a relatively quiet news period, and 140 members still voted to move forward with impeachment. Think about what that means. The support for removing Trump is growing, not shrinking, growing. Every time Representative Al Green forces one of these votes, more members join. The block is getting bigger. The momentum is building. And Trump can see exactly where this is heading. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Patrick Smith's show to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe because you might think you are but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. All right, let's get into what actually went down. Representative Al Green filed articles of impeachment. This isn't his first attempt. The guy has been trying to impeach Trump basically since day one of the second term. Multiple resolutions, multiple attempts. But here's what's different this time. When Green filed these articles as a privileged resolution, the House had to deal with it. They couldn't just ignore it. Republicans moved to table the resolution. Standard procedure. Kill it before it goes anywhere. The motion to table passed 237 to 140. So technically the impeachment resolution died. Republicans won. But that 140 number is absolutely massive. Now let me bring the receipts on why this is so significant. Because in June 2025, when Green tried this same move, fewer members voted against tabling. Way fewer. The exact number isn't as widely reported, but we know December's 140 represents a significant increase in support. The bloc is growing. Each time Green forces a vote, more members join. Why? What's changing? First, Trump's behavior keeps giving them ammunition. The articles cite specific incidents. Trump threatening federal judges, Trump calling for violence against lawmakers, Trump defying court orders. Each new scandal gives wavering Democrats another reason to vote yes. Second, public pressure is building. Organizations like Free Speech for People have delivered nearly 1 million signatures to Congress demanding impeachment. 1 million people. That's constituents. That's voters. That's political pressure members can't ignore. Third, the political calculation is shifting. Voting for impeachment used to look risky, looked partisan. But now, after Trump's been impeached twice already, after all the scandals and court cases and criminal indictments, voting to impeach just looks like common sense to a lot of voters. Share this video with everyone you know because here's what those 140 votes actually represent. This isn't random. This is organized. These are members who've been coordinating with activist groups, who've been getting briefed on the legal case for impeachment, who've been preparing their talking points. This is infrastructure. This is a movement. This is a coalition that's ready to move the second they have power. Notice what's in these impeachment articles. Because the substance matters. This isn't just Trump's bad and we don't like him. Article 1, abuse of power. The resolution says Trump has used presidential authority to threaten and retaliate against critics, to weaponize government agencies, to punish enemies and reward friends. Standard corruption documented with examples. Article 2, obstruction of justice. Trump defying court orders, ignoring subpoenas, blocking investigations. Judges on record saying the administration violated their orders. Article 3, and this is the big one, inciting violence and threatening federal officials. The resolution explicitly says Trump has called for the execution of members of Congress, that he's threatened federal judges who ruled against him, that his rhetoric has led to death threats against lawmakers and the judiciary, that he knows his words endanger people's lives but he does it anyway. Think about that for a second. A third of the House just voted to advance articles saying the president is deliberately inciting violence against government officials. That's not a minor accusation. That's saying the president is a threat to the physical safety of Congress and the courts. Make sure you're subscribed, because here's where this gets absolutely terrifying for Trump. Those 140 votes don't exist in a vacuum. They're connected to a broader strategy, a long game to build support for impeachment until it becomes inevitable. The organizations behind the Impeach Trump Again campaign aren't just collecting signatures for fun. They're building pressure. They're creating a permission structure for members to vote yes. They're making it politically safer to support impeachment. How? By showing public support, by getting 1 million signatures, by holding press conferences, by flooding congressional offices with calls and emails. All of that creates an environment where voting for impeachment becomes the path of least resistance for members in safe districts. And it's working. Each vote shows more support. Each effort brings more members on board. The trend line is clear. Now let me show you what happens if Democrats win the House in 2026. Because that's when everything changes. Suddenly those 140 members aren't the fringe. They're the foundation. They're proof that impeachment has support. And Speaker Hakeem Jeffries can say, look, we already had 140 members on record supporting this before we even had power. Now we've got a mandate. And here's the thing about Democratic voters right now. They're furious. They're exhausted by Trump. They've watched him escape consequences over and over, and they want action. Not investigations, not reports, not strongly worded letters. They want impeachment, they want trials, they want removal. So if Democrats win the House in 2026, the pressure on leadership to immediately move on impeachment will be enormous. The activist groups with their 1 million signatures will demand it. The 140 members who already voted yes will expect it. Primary challengers will threaten anyone who hesitates, and leadership will have to act. How fast could it happen? Realistically, within the first 100 days of the new Congress, maybe the first 30 days, because unlike previous impeachments, the groundwork is already done. Al Green's articles are already drafted, the evidence is already compiled, the legal arguments are already made. They don't need to start from scratch, they just need to vote. Notice what makes this different from Trump's first 2 impeachments. The first was about Ukraine. Complicated, lots of moving parts, easy for Republicans to muddy. The second was about January 6th, emotional, chaotic, happened fast. But this one's about a pattern, years of abuses, documented threats, defying courts, inciting violence. It's a comprehensive case that's been building for Trump's entire second term. That makes it harder to defend, harder to dismiss as partisan, harder for Republican senators to justify voting to acquit. Share this with everyone, because here's the realistic timeline if Democrats win enough seats. December 2025, 140 members vote for impeachment. November 2026, Democrats potentially win the House. January 2027, new Congress sworn in. February 2027, new impeachment articles filed with majority support. March 2027, House passes articles and sends them to Senate. April 2027, Senate trial begins. That's not fantasy. That's a realistic timeline. Now let's be honest about Senate conviction. Getting 67 votes to actually remove Trump? That's still really hard. You need 17 Republicans to cross over. And most Republican senators are still terrified of Trump's base, still worried about primary challenges. But here's what changes the calculation. Once Trump's a lame duck, once he can't run again, once his political power is waning, that's when senators start thinking, do I really want to spend the rest of my career defending this guy? Do I want that as my legacy? And if a few senators decide the answer is no, if Mitt Romney is joined by Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski and maybe a couple others, suddenly you've got momentum. You've got a block of Republicans willing to convict. Maybe not 17, maybe just 5 or 8, but that's enough to make it interesting. Enough to make Trump sweat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because even if conviction fails, even if Trump survives the Senate trial, the process itself does damage. Discovery happens. Witnesses testify. Evidence comes out. All of it becomes part of the public record. All of it feeds into future criminal prosecutions. All of it becomes ammunition for Trump's enemies. This is why Trump is so desperate to keep Republicans in power, because he knows that losing the House means impeachment, and impeachment means exposure, and exposure means risk, more risk than he's ever faced before. Now let me bring the receipts on what this means for Trump's inner circle, because they're watching all this too, and they're doing calculations of their own. If impeachment is inevitable once Democrats get power, if Trump's protection is temporary, then what's the smart play for people around him? Do you stay loyal and hope Trump protects you? Or do you start cooperating with investigators to save yourself? These are real decisions Trump's advisors are making right now. And the December 11th vote affects their calculations, because it shows impeachment isn't hypothetical, it's coming. The infrastructure is built, the votes are there or close to it. Some will stick with Trump to the bitter end, but others, the smart ones, the ones thinking long-term, they're already looking for exits, already talking to lawyers, already considering cooperation deals. Notice what happens when people start defecting. Trump's power depends on loyalty, on everyone staying silent, on nobody flipping. But once people start defecting, once the first domino falls, others follow. And suddenly prosecutors have witnesses, evidence, inside information, and Trump's defense crumbles. We saw this in Trump's first term. Michael Cohen flipped, Rick Gates flipped, Michael Flynn eventually cooperated. Each defection made the next one easier. It's a cascade effect. And with impeachment looming, with 140 members already on record demanding removal, with midterms potentially shifting power, Trump's people are seeing the writing on the wall. Loyalty might not be worth the price anymore. Not when the price includes prison time or contempt charges or career destruction. Now let's talk about what free speech for people is doing, because they're not just collecting signatures. They're building a comprehensive case. They've documented Trump threatening judges. They've compiled his social media posts calling for violence. They've tracked the death threats against lawmakers that spiked after Trump attacked them. All of it is evidence. All of it is preserved. All of it can be used in impeachment proceedings, and they're working directly with those 140 members, providing briefings, sharing research, coordinating messaging. This isn't amateur hour. This is a sophisticated operation with clear goals and a realistic path to achieving them. Share this video because here's what the next few years probably look like. Between now and November 2026, constant pressure, more impeachment attempts, more activist campaigns, more signatures, more organizing, building momentum for the midterms. Then the 2026 election. If Republicans hold the House, this all stays theoretical for at least 2 more years. But if Democrats win, things move fast. Articles filed, committee hearings, House votes, Senate trial, all happening in 2027. And during that whole process, Trump's allies making decisions. Stay loyal or cooperate, defy courts or comply, double down or cut deals, each choice creating more pressure, more defections, more exposure, and at the end of it all, even if Trump survives impeachment, even if Senate Republicans protect him again, he's damaged, weakened, documented, with a record of abuses that prosecutors can use the moment he leaves office in 2029. Make sure you're subscribed to Patrick Smith's show, because here's why those 140 votes matter so much. They weren't symbolic. They were a preview, a promise, a threat. They were Capitol Hill saying, "We're ready. We've got the votes lined up. We've got the case built. Just give us the power and we'll do it." And Trump heard that message loud and clear. His allies heard it. Everyone in Washington heard it. The only question now is whether voters hear it too. Whether they understand what's at stake in 2026. Whether they show up and give Democrats the majority needed to turn those 140 votes into 220. To turn impeachment from threat into reality. Notice what Speaker Mike Johnson is saying. He's out there warning Republican voters that Trump will get impeached if Democrats win. That tells you everything. Even Republican leadership sees this coming. Even they know it's not a matter of if, but when Democrats get the votes. This is the thing about political momentum. It builds slowly, incrementally. Each vote shows a little more support. Each effort brings a few more members on board, until suddenly you hit critical mass, and what seemed impossible becomes inevitable. We're not at critical mass yet, but we're closer than Trump wants to admit. Share this with everyone, because here's what December 11th really represents. Not an ending, but a beginning. Not defeat, but a preview. Those 140 votes showed exactly how many members are ready to impeach Trump right now, without a majority, without power, just based on conviction that he's committed impeachable offenses. Give those members a majority. Give them the power to actually pass articles. And we're watching history unfold. That's what December 11th was really about. A demonstration that the impeachment infrastructure is built, the votes are growing, and the moment is coming. The bottom line is this. Capitol Hill erupted on December 11th when 140 members of Congress voted to advance impeachment articles against Trump. That's the largest pro-impeachment vote of his second term, up from previous attempts, not down. The articles cite specific conduct: Trump threatening federal judges, calling for execution of lawmakers, inciting violence against government officials, defying court orders. Organizations like Free Speech for People have delivered nearly 1 million signatures to Congress demanding impeachment. The infrastructure is built, the case is documented, the coalition is organized. If Democrats win the House in 2026, impeachment moves fast, potentially within 30 days of the new Congress. The groundwork is already done, articles drafted, evidence compiled, arguments made. Senate conviction is still hard, needs 17 Republicans. But Trump being a lame duck changes calculations. Some senators might break ranks. Even if conviction fails, the trial does damage, creates records, exposes wrongdoing, feeds future prosecutions. Trump's allies are watching, making calculations. Loyalty versus self-preservation. Some will start cooperating, start cutting deals, start defecting. The cascade is coming. December 11th was the preview, the warning shot, the demonstration of what's possible. Those 140 votes turn into 220 if Democrats win, and 220 means impeachment passes. The only thing stopping it now is Republican control of the House. Change that in 2026 and everything changes. Trump knows this. His team knows this. Republican leadership knows this. That's why Johnson is warning voters. That's why activists are organizing. That's why those 140 members voted yes. This is the eruption happening in slow motion. The pressure building. The ground shifting. The inevitable approaching. Capitol Hill erupted on December 11th, not with violence, not with chaos, but with 140 members saying, "We're ready to remove this president. Just give us the power." And in 2026, voters might do exactly that. This story continues. Stay tuned.